time I had heard about this was over the HARP facility back in 99.
Mm.
In December of 99, a meteor came in, hit the atmosphere, exploded, sonic boom. 3 hours later, Anchorage suffered a massive earthquake. Everyone in Anchorage thought it was the end of the world. You can go look this up in the Anchorage Daily News, December of 99. I started at that point thinking, well, do we have the ability to hurl meteors at our own planet?
Mm.
Because this meteor came in so precisely over the HARP facility, which just happened to be tested as a meteor deflection shield at that time, that I knew it had to have been man-made. So as I was tracking this movement to a war effort in the space program, all of a sudden these meteors started returning, and we started having them all over the globe. The scientists, astronomers are going, we don't know what they are. We just see that there's a bright flash, a sonic boom, and then an earthquake. It's unheard of. We don't know what they are. Then the next thing you know, the government comes out and says, we are now classifying incoming bolides and fireballs as top secret.
Hmm.
So now I can't even database them, right?
Okay.
So I thought that this would be the movement they would use to cause the weaponization of space. So everyone has been questioning about chemtrails now. Back in 1996, we started to document these. And people were watching as this stuff was falling into their front yards. It looked like a spiderweb substance, and they would, if anyone touched it, they immediately got flu-like symptoms. Immediately.
Hmm.
Now, what was happening was the news even broadcast at that time, flu-like symptom epidemic. Now, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
A symptom epidemic? You know, they said there is no virus. We have a flu-like symptom epidemic. Everybody seems to have the flu, but nobody does. So what we started to find out was the ingredients that were coming down. People were storing this stuff they were finding in their front yard. Now, I personally ended up in the hospital with barium poisoning after the 96 Rainbow Gathering, and you can go check out to see if in the Middle East, when they were tracking insurgents, they were feeding them barium. You can go to The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, written by Stephen King, and you'll see that they inject him with barium to track him into the Running Man arena.
Hmm.
Okay? Barium is the radioactive isotope that they have used drink, that chalky, horrible chalky substance that then they can X-ray inside of you and see all of your insides, right?
Okay. God.
Okay, so this is barium,
Mm.
and this is the use of barium. Well, barium shows up on X-rays. And so this X-band radar is a device to determine and view things like barium in a system. It is also used as a missile defense radar, which they were, many were wondering why they didn't use it for the North Korea missile test. It was not, okay, well, let me jump, I'm jumping ahead. So what has happened is we now have this chemtrail program going over our heads, and we are breathing in this barium. And that was one of the main ingredients, and then the other one is aluminum. And so what you feel, this lethargy, the sickness, the achy joints, all of the things that we get when you see a heavy chemtrail day, and start to notice that, people, then that is barium poisoning. That is heavy metal poisoning. It is not a flu. It's not a virus. It's heavy metal poisoning. So if you want to deal with it, you got to look into cures for heavy metal. I don't know any at this point. And you can also not get tested for barium poisoning, but very expensive. Okay, so what happened was they built this X-band radar, which is a giant globe on top of an oil rig. And they sent this out of Corpus Christi, Texas. And they had to send it all the way down around South America because it was too large to fit through the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
So this was a big deal. This thing had to make it all the way up and go sit itself next to the HARP facility in Alaska. So now we've got these two technologies sitting side by side. And so what happened was the X-band radar took out of the Gulf of Texas, and right after it left and got just far enough away, Katrina came in and wiped out New Orleans. Now, many people believe that HARP was used to move that storm. Now, we're talking about manipulation, not creation. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
storm would be created, and then you can enhance it by, heat. And then, because what is HAARP but an ionospheric heater? So then that increases the storm's strength. And also, it seems that they made the storm take a quick right turn. And some are showing the heat waves that were hitting it. You can see that on some of the old studies of Katrina.
Hmm.
So right as Katrina hit, the X-band radar was completely forgotten, and it made its way down South America and made its way up next to the HAARP facility, which brings us to the second part of the chemtrail program, which is aluminum. And of course, what do you do when you want to enhance the your reception on your television back in the old bunny ear days, but to put tinfoil onto your antennas, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So now we're breathing in all this aluminum, and therefore you are now a perfect antenna for these radio frequency waves coming from the HAARP facility.
Everyone walking around pretty much is going to be becoming like an antenna here pretty soon.
Exactly.
Oh god.
And so that's why people haven't been able to figure out what the chemtrail program was for. Now you know. It's to track and manipulate you.
Well, on top of all of this other stuff that I've said, what I have come to recognize is that the world is miraculous, and that we have given over our power to this elite by being victims, by believing they do this to us, or believing that we are under the power, or that we have to ask their permission to be human. And it is the moment when we realize that we are divine, and that there is a divine guidance leading us forward into a beautiful future, that we will then find that future. But as long as we continue to believe the deceptions of this 666 nation and international nation, then we are going to continue to fall through the trap, and things are going to be miserable. It's all up to us to recognize the miraculous, synchronistic, beautiful coincidences that will come in our lives, and to follow that and understand our own true power.